I understand the next call is a split call. Sewer Williams CO.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know whether I heard correctly, but that member seemed to have said earlier that by gambling, poor people living in poor communities will be able to improve themselves and move into the wealthier parts of Auckland City. And if that's what he believes, sir, what an appalling state of government that we have. To then say also that the government takes seriously the problem of gambling causes to our community is appalling when you consider, sir, that in Manukau alone, after taking in consideration the money that goes into the gambling pokie machines and then out to the sports club, the community is left with $90 million deficit on an annual basis. We know from the problem gambling organisations that gamblers gamble away $5.5 million a week in the billions of dollars a year. So I don't know where that government and that particular member gets their information from, but they are plainly wrong. I don't want to use the other word, but I'll simply say, sir, that they are wrong. And this is why we continue to have this debate, and this is why, sir, that up and down this country there are organisations who believe strongly that the direction this government is taking this country is in the wrong direction and taking this country backwards. It doesn't favour the benefit of all New Zealanders. It is only looking after its mates, in this case, Sky City Casino. I want to acknowledge Te Ururoa Flavel and the bill that he's brought forward. I know when I first saw the bill, I acknowledged the fact that he picked up on issues, sir, that this country needs to deal with. I know that his intentions were right, and I know that he personally also knows the harm that gambling does on Māori and Pacifica and a range of other sectors of our community. It is not his fault that the bill is the way it is now. That clearly falls on the shoulders of this particular government, because it is not their intention to solve the problem gambling that harms our community. It is their intention to ensure that their friends and their mates make millions, if not billions of dollars by causing harm on others. It's not their intention to support communities in poor areas so that the people of Māngere end up living in Remuera. That's not their intention whatsoever. Their intention is to milk as much as possible of those who are in low income situations. In fact, sir, it's been noted that we now have a society created largely by this government, but not solely by them, where it seems like for poor communities, we've got to gamble just in the belief that that's going to make ends meet. That's the kind of society that we now live in. And for 5 years, this government has contributed strongly to ensuring that the poor continue to be poor, because if you look at the evidence that's been found today, sir, since they have been in power, the gap of inequality has certainly widened. But the community aren't blind to that, Mr. Speaker. About 2 weeks ago, I held a meeting in my electorate where people were very much concerned, as reflected by their submissions on this bill and in the subsequent bill that this government has put forward. They are opposed to the increase of pokie, sir. They are opposed to it because of the harm. And until that government recognises that there is significant harm caused by the way that they have manipulated this legislation and the way that they have dealt to Sky City in the secret, well, not so secret now, deal, I don't think, sir, that this is the kind of country that in the end is going to benefit the significant populations that are wanting a support, that are wanting jobs, that are wanting incomes, that are wanting genuine jobs that they can get ahead. At the rate that this government, sir, when they manipulate bills such as this and interfere with the clear intentions that were at the beginning, so that there is no longer protection for problem gamblers, I would say, sir, that again, this is the kind of government that ought to be kicked out come 2014.
I call Kevin Haig.
Malo Lele, Mr. Speaker. It's an interesting thing.